At home, they played well on the road. 15 wins on the road. And when you're playing teams right now like the Padres, like the Giants, like the Dodgers, where they're reeling, they're not at their best, this is your opportunity to jump out in front. Because if you do that, if you get into June, you can leave those teams in the dust. We've seen it happen. You're not going to face them very often. This is an extremely important road trip.
Yeah, got to take advantage, especially, as you said, with those teams being down who are normally near the top of the division, i.e. the Los Angeles Dodgers. It'll be a little more difficult, though, because for a period of time, the Rockies are going to be without DJ LeMahieu. That's right. We didn't notice it yesterday. DJ, on a swing in his third at bat, sprained his left thumb. He had an MRI today. We are told it was negative. We'll have more information hopefully as the evening progresses, or certainly tomorrow. But he's on the DL. Pat Valleca was called back to the club. He just arrived about a half hour ago. But it was on that swing, evidently.
It was on this swing. It's his left thumb after release when the bat goes through the zone. This is a big blow for the Rockies, especially with this road trip, especially given the fact that DJ's only been on the disabled list once, and that happened this year. Now you're adding an extra disabled list stint where we have no idea how long it could be. If there's a surgery, if it's just 10 days, we're not sure. But being without DJ LeMahieu, that quality of bat for a period of time is extremely important.
Yeah, and especially needing DJ all the time. But when the club has been struggling offensively, his absence will be that much greater. So he'll be on the disabled list. When we come back, we'll check in with Jenny Cavnar. We're a few minutes in front of first pitch tonight. It's the Rockies at Petco taking on the Friars.
Trip, 3 different cities beginning right here in San Diego, California. Just 2 short ones between between the Rockies and the Padres. Colorado taking 3 of 4 their last time here at Petco Park earlier this season. Well, it's that time of year where the Rockies are going to play their division and play them lots. 15 of the next 18 against the NL West. It's time to make some moves, but it seems like up to this point, they've been seeing the Padres a lot. They faced them 10 times. The Rockies lead that series 6-4 on the season, but they're not the only ones within the division that have faced up a bunch. The Diamondbacks and Dodgers actually lead the way with 12 matchups. San Francisco and LA have already matched up 10 times. So the Rockies have yet to see the Giants or the Dodgers, and for Colorado players, it seems very strange.
The scheduling's been really weird this year when it comes to that. I think it's kind of fun to play, most of the teams in your division early and get a little familiar with them again, and to not face them, and just face the Padres over and over. It's been kind of weird.
We play these guys a lot, in division. I think it's like that, throughout the whole division. We just play each other a lot, and you kind of get to know the pitchers more, and obviously, facing them and having experience against them is is good for us too.
That's unique for sure. I don't ever remember being in a situation like that, but there's good things about it, and obviously being exposed on either side of the ball to a team 10 times this early on can be challenging also.
Well, it's also unique for Bud Black when he comes back to Petco Park, of course, because he managed the Padres for parts of 9 seasons. Now against his former team as a manager of the Rockies, 18-11. So he's feeling good about facing them again tonight. Asking Buddy about that, is there any such thing as managerial revenge? He skipped right over that and said, every time I'm at the ballpark, I want to win with the uniform that I'm wearing. That's what the Rockies are going to try and do tonight as they face the Padres for the 11th time this season. Again, a short 2-game set right here in San Diego. First pitch coming your way next.
You won't see it for long.
Oh, even though it is a little bit cool tonight, sunny skies overhead. It's a sweatshirt night if you're at the ballpark. The Rockies taking on the Padres. Game number 11 between these two clubs this year. The Rockies have won 6 of the first 10. The Rockies come in 3 games north of 500. The Padres coming off a victory yesterday against the Cardinals. They split a 4-game set with them. They come in at 16-26. And One of the nice stories for the Padres so far this year has been this man, the rookie Joey Lucchesi. 3-2 record, but he's got a 2.98 ERA. And against the Rockies, they haven't touched him yet in 2 games. 11 innings. They have not scored a run against him as we take a look at the Southwest batting order tonight. And again, without DJ in there, Charlie's back up front. Noel Cuevas is going to bat in the 2-hole. And then it'll be Arenado, Story, Desmond, Ionetta, Gerardo Parra. 6 for 19 on the homestand. He'll be in the 7th spot. Daniel Castro, he'll be playing second base tonight in the absence of DJ LeMahieu. And Tyler Anderson is doing the pitching, so it's a pair of lefties. And these two guys, Spilly, have matched up a couple of times already this year.
Yeah, this will mark the 3rd time that they've faced against each other. And for the Rockies, I'm curious to see what kind of adjustment they make against Lucchesi. You mentioned it, 11 innings pitched against the Rockies, 15 strikeouts. The Arsenal's fastball, let's just call the changeup and the curveball the same pitch. It's a curve. I'll explain that later.
I'm glad you said that because Trevor Story broke that term out on me around batting practice. A curve, because his changeup does not fade in toward a lefty. It moves away almost like a curveball.
He holds it with a circle change grip, but he throws it with the same action that you do with the curveball. So we're just going to call it a curveball.
And that is clearly a fastball, so it's 1 ball and 1 strike. The Rockies got a couple of unearned runs against Lucchesi in a ball game earlier this year, but nothing earned so far. He's had the luxury of pitching at Petco most of the time. 6 of his first 8 starts have been at Petco, and there's the curve, and it's the top of the strike zone, which you see that pitch being called more for strikes perhaps this year than we have seen in the past. The top of the zone. That looked high, but it was called a strike. Home plate umpire, the veteran Larry Vanover.
Well, and you know how I've mentioned this before. No hitter likes a 1-1 pitch going towards the pitcher because the batting average drops about 100 points.
There's enough differential that the fastball, especially as funky as he is, really plays up.
You want the differential between your fastball and your off-speed pitch to be about 10 miles an hour, unless you have great movement with the pitch.
And his averages about 11 if you look at the average fastball versus that curve. Charlie fouls this off. You want to talk about an interesting number for Charlie Blackmon, or numbers. Check this out, folks. He's hitting .305 on the road with a .707 slugging percentage. The slugging percentage is the best road slugging percentage in the National League. At home, in that hitter's paradise of Coors Field, so far just a .232 average and a .339 slugging percentage for Charlie. 2-2. Rockies coming off a 7-3 loss yesterday to Milwaukee. They had only 6 hits in that ball game. They were held in check by Freddie Peralta, who struck out 13 in his major league debut. And guys, we're talking about his cutter in the clubhouse today. This is bounced over the mound. Freddie Galvis is going to get there, and he'll get Charlie by a step.
For the Win is brought to you by Pizza Ranch. Tonight, it's Solve the Rubik's Cube. That's Joey Lucchesi. You mentioned the numbers. 11 innings pitched. He has not given up an earned run. 15 strikeouts during that time frame. For me, it's the 3rd time the Rockies have been able to see him and have a good feel of what this changeup / curveball looks like. And I'm hoping that they'll take full advantage of it tonight.
Cuevas, an aggressive hitter. If he sees a first pitch fastball, he's going to fire at it. And there he goes, and it's cut off there at 3rd by Villanueva. 2 outs. Take a look at the first back defensive alignment for the Padres tonight. They have not been a very strong defensive team so far. Villanueva has struggled at 3rd. Galvis is steady at shortstop. Perella is very good at second base. Hosmer solid at 1st, but they've made some errors. Cordero, Margot, and A rookie making his major league debut, Franmil Reyes. More on him when he comes up. The veteran A.J. Ellis behind the plate. They have some injuries. Will Myers remains out with an oblique and an elbow. They have no idea when he will return. Here's Nolan with 2 outs. Austin Hedges has an elbow. He's on the disabled list. That's why A.J. Ellis, senior citizen, playing a lot of baseball right now for the Padres. Hunter Renfroe, who plays right field, he has an elbow. He's on the DL.
Nobody feels bad for another team with injuries, but for the Padres, they've been missing out on Will Myers too. 25 games without Will Myers.
And again, he's going to hit either in front of or behind Eric Hosmer. And that's 2 legitimate bats, so they're -1. But you're absolutely right. Rockies now playing without DJ LeMahieu. Cargo's been down. Nolan had the 5-game suspension. Charlie was on the disabled list. 0-2. And a line shot to right for a base hit. Well, Nolan's figured out Lucchesi. He's 3 for 6. But he needs some help.
Just the numbers for the first really 4 batters against Lucchesi. They have great numbers against him. There's the curveball. You can see how the changeup is working itself back towards a right-handed hitter. It doesn't have the typical fade. For the Rockies, more importantly, when they score first, they're 18-4. 18-4.
Nolan's now reaching 24 straight. Scoring first is huge. How about the Padres? When they score first, they're 12-1.
They're 4-25 when the
right.
opponents score first. So I mean, it's a sprint to score first.
It's usually that way with all teams. You think, okay, you get a guy on, just bunt him over, somehow find a way to go old school, go 70s baseball, get that first run, because it
doesn't say how many runs you have to score. It's just first.
Yeah,
that's it.
The stats say you have a great chance at winning then. Good swing by Story. Story owns a home run against Lucchesi. Batting cleanup for the 16th time this year. He's done a good job in that spot. 298, 5 home runs, 15 RBIs. But when he bats cleanup, it's direct correlation to who's on the mound. It means a lefty's on the mound. That's when Buddy puts him in that cleanup spot. Swing pitch. They looked way inside, and you look at Trevor. I mean, that thing looked like it's 5 inches inside.
Well received by A.J. Ellis. It's just the whole idea for a hitter, you're trying to put yourself in a hitter's count. And anytime a pitcher gets 2 strikes, the hitter's at a severe disadvantage. So on a 1-1 count, it's the one pitch where the value of that pitch, that being a ball or strike, outweighs any other strike in an entire account.
2-2. Lucchesi is a 24-year-old out of Southeast Missouri State, though he's a California kid. He's from Newark, California. Went to junior college on the West Coast and then spent 2 years at Southeast Missouri State. So he was a senior draft pick. This is popped up down the right field line. This should get out of play. Usually you don't have much leverage when you're a senior draft pick. But he was a second-team All-American, so he went in the 4th round. Draft coming up next month. You'll see so many 4-year college players. The ones that are drafted high, typically they're going to go after their junior year. When you're 21 or your junior year, whichever comes first. This guy's got a good move. He's picked off 3 guys already. They have 2 lefties that are really tough to figure. Clayton Richard being the other. Clayton may be the best in the business picking guys off from the left side. He threw yesterday, went 8 innings. He's throwing the ball well. Story Got jammed a little bit, and it's a fly ball to Reyes in right field. He makes the catch, and the Rockies leave Nolan at first base at a quiet first frame. Will be on the hill for the Rockies. It's his 9th start this year, 43rd of his young career. The 28-year-old, product of the University of Oregon, and the league's hitting just .238 against him. Billy, what's interesting is lefties are hitting a little better against him than righties.
They are, and I think that's part of the game for Tyler Anderson's, making sure he gets his changeup established early. That is his best secondary pitch. Fastball usage is really about 75% of the time because he'll use the cut fastball very often. I think if you're looking at Tyler Anderson and trying to figure out what has been his biggest adjustment, it's been far more aggressive using fastball versus his off-speed pitch, and more importantly, 65% first pitch strikes for the last 4 starts.
And he misses there on the outside corner, so it's ball 1. Manuel Margot hitting just .202. A year ago, he hit .263 with 13 home runs in a very fine first season in the big leagues. That's in there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Margot quiet against the Rockies, fortunately, this year. 5 for 26. And this will make him 5 for 27. Daniel Castro on 2 hops, 1 gone. Here's the Southwest batting order for Andy Green this evening. He'll have Eric Hosmer, his best hitter, batting in the 2 spot. Then Jose Perella, who's been very steady, he'll bat 3rd. Christian Villanueva was great in April. He's been in a horrendous slump so far in May. More on that in a little bit. Franchi Cordero's dangerous, man. Big, strong kid who can run. And then it's Reyes making his major league debut. He's got a ton of pop. Freddie Galvis, the former Philly. A.J. Ellis, the former everything, or everybody. And then the pitcher, Lucchesi, will bat 9th, naturally. And the first pitch is swung on and fouled off by Eric Hosmer. Hosmer's been great out on the road, Spilly, and at home he has really struggled. He's hitting just .200 at home. It's downstairs. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hitting .380 on the road. But at home he's 19 for 95.
Well, when he was with Kansas City, he came to San Diego and he hit extremely well here. And so he's probably thinking to himself, all right, I got no problem hitting in San Diego, until you have to play here every day.
Yeah, it's a little different when it's your home ballpark, right?
Yeah, for 3 days, it's great. It's like going to Vegas. It's great for 3 days. Get me out of there.
Could be dangerous for 3 days also. 1-2. Anderson with that cutter, and it's fouled off.
So Dougie just pulled up some numbers because we were talking about if the Rockies score first, they're 18-4. If the Padres score first, they're 12-1. Major League Baseball this season, teams that score first are 406 and 190. That's a 681 win percentage. You think the first run doesn't matter?
It's huge.
If you look at Tyler Anderson, half of the earned runs he's given up this year have come in the first inning.
Well, that's been a problematic inning, it seems like, for every Rocky starter. We said the same thing about John Gray. We said the same thing about German Marquez, who we'll see tomorrow. Seems like when the Rockies get out of the first unscathed, it's usually going to be a good night. Here's Kyle Freeland on the left. Happy birthday, Kyle. Turned 25 today. And this is a fair ball, and Desi has it. 2 outs. Here's the first bank defensive alignment for the Rockies this evening. Again, without LeMahieu, Daniel Castro is in there at second base. It's an outfield of Parra, Blackman, and Noel Cuevas. Tony Walters started yesterday. He hit his second home run. Tony's on a power surge. It's like a home run a week. Home run a week keeps the doctor away, Spilly.
So there are times where hitters, they'll run into a home run or two, and then they think they're home run hitters, and watch what happens to their batting average.
I remember back, this is before you were in the big leagues, the Rockies had a charismatic shortstop and a good player, Nafi Perez. And Nafi, every once in a while, would run into one and hit a home run. And I remember when Don Baylor was the manager, his head would drop. Usually home run's a good thing. He's like, oh no, this is not going to be good now the next 10 days. He's going to be popping up left and right. That ball's left up, but you hit it at the wrong guy. Nolan's going to throw him out. Very good start. 3 ground balls for Tyler Anderson. So we'll go to the second. No score at Petco Park. Glad you're along, as always, right here on AT&T Sportsnet. Brought to you by the 2018 Toyota Tundra in your hometown Toyota stores, and by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Pretty sunset. I love San Diego. Wish it was a little warmer though.
What? Are you seriously? You're complaining about it?
I'm complaining a little bit. Ian Desmond's going to step in against Joey Lucchesi. Nolan had a base hit with 2 outs in the first. Other than that, the Rockies didn't get anything done in their first look at Lucchesi. Now 12 innings, and he's not allowed an earned run against the Rockies, and that touches the strike zone. Desmond likes Petco Park. Since joining the Rockies, he's played 13 games here. hit .345, 5 home runs, 15 driven in. There's his lifetime numbers at Petco. That's a strike also. There aren't many hitters, Spilly, who raise their hand when you say, hey, favorite ballpark, Petco to hit at. You don't see a lot of hands flying up in the air.
There's not a lot. There are aspects to hitting here that are very beneficial for a hitter. It's a very quick infield. It's a short porch to the left, if you pull it. Right field is not great for right-handed hitters that like to hit the ball opposite field. Center field is quite a distance away. They've moved the fences in multiple times. There's a time frame where Ryan Klesko, he's with the Braves at the time, signs with the Padres. He couldn't hit a ball out during batting practice. He quit. He took his ball and went home.
When they moved from Qualcomm, he and Phil Nevin, when they first got here, were very upset. And they were vocal about it because it was just so tough to hit. Casey strikes out Desmond, 1 out, and that'll bring up Ionetta. Fans of the Rockies score 7 runs or more. Go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Live Moss at Taco Bell. There's a lot of. This ball's well hit to right. Speaking of hitting it to right, Reyes, though, will go back. And that marine layer may have gotten that baseball. Chris kind of giving that look out there, feeling, I'm guessing right now, but the way he's looking, saying, man, I hit that better than the result.
I'll never forget watching Chase Utley when he was with the Phillies. And this was years and years ago. Hit a ball to right field. Did his little, laid the bat down as he would do when he hits a home run. Some guys have a home run finish. And started trotting towards first base, expecting it to be gone. The right fielder took a couple steps in to catch the fly ball.
Yeah, I think so many players who've played for a while have a story like that here. One of my first recollections of how hard it was to hit here, Todd Helton, this way before they moved in the fences. It was out, Spill, you remember this was like 409 to right center. And Helton from up here, we thought, man, he smothered that ball, crushed it. And I believe it was Dave Roberts who was in center field. And he went out to right center field and caught it before the warning track. And the next, either that night or the next day, I was talking to Todd. I said, "Did you get that one last night?" He said, "All I had. Every bit of it." 1-1 on Parra.
That's
2-1.
And for people at home hearing that, I want you to understand, baseball is such a game of confidence. And so if you're a good hitter and you just hit the ball as hard as you possibly could, and the outfielder didn't even get to the warning track, think about where your mindset is. It's totally messed up.
This is going to be a tough chance, but it's made by Perella. I thought he may go with the glove flip there, but he got it in time, making the transfer. 1-2-3, second inning for Lucchesi. No score. Christian Villanueva is going to lead it off against Tyler Anderson. We were discussing earlier that Villanueva had a great April. Hit close to 340, bunch of home runs, 9 of them. But May has been miserable. He is, folks, 0 for his last 36 at the plate. I mean, you want to give him a hug. He's behind 0-1. And 0-2.
Typically how it works for hitters when you're in one of those funks is that every time you walk up to the plate, right when they announce your name, you just stroll to the plate, you look up on the scoreboard, and there's 2 strikes.
How true that seems when you're in a bad place. Curveball on the ground to third. Nolan will throw out Villanueva. Ball sailed a little bit. Desi made the catch. That'll bring up Franchi Cordero. Built for Baseball is brought to you by T-Mobile. Franchi was hurt to begin the season, and shortly after his return, he did this down at Chase Field. A ball that traveled 489 feet. It is the longest home run in baseball this year. You see this guy, and you want him, you know, if you're rolling on your travel team into a new town, you want him to get off the bus first.
Actually,
the other team may quit.
Actually, they might want the guy on deck, Franmil Reyes, to get off the bus first. He's even bigger. He's 6'5", 275.
I know. One of those 2 guys, you get off the bus first. then the other guy follows. That's a great curveball by Anderson. 0-1.
Franchi, I'm still upset about the 489-foot home run. I still believe it should have been 500 feet. Just call it 500 feet.
Whatever they call it, it went really, really far. That's a good pitch. Anderson now works ahead 1-2 on Cordero. Cordero's hit 6 home runs, not all of them 489 feet. That's a great pitch. See you later. Well, pretty good size zone east and west demonstrated by Larry Vanover so far tonight. And too quick to be gone. Let's another look at that fastball.
That's what we're talking about with the aggressive nature of Anderson over the last 4 games, is that he's used his fastball in strikeout counts, in the 0-2 strike counts.
Well, here's the young man who's making his big league debut tonight, Franmil Reyes. And he earned his way to the big leagues with what he's done the last 2 years. First of all, he has 14 home runs down in AAA, which is more than anybody in professional baseball. He had 8 in 5 games last week. And so finally they said, you know what, we got to bring this kid up. 0-1 on Reyes. Last year he hit 25 in AA and drove in 102. Well, this is a guy that reminds some of Jabari Blash, who used to be a Padre, and he's now at the Angels, been up and down. We just saw him when the Angels were in town last week. Quick pitch. Good idea.
Body size, swing-wise, I watched him hit during batting practice. Reminds me a lot of Willie Mopena. People remember Willie Mopena, played with the Red Sox and the Reds. Big-time power. He's playing in Japan, still hitting a lot of homers.
1-2, and he gets him on a fastball up. That's a great inning of work for Anderson. 1-2-3 and a couple of strikeouts. Got the big boys, Cordero and Reyes. To the third we go.
Struck out the 2 Frans.
Castro Anderson and then Charlie Blackman. Fans join in on the conversation. Send us questions, thoughts, comments, photos. Shots of Spilly on the internet. Use the hashtag Toyota Talk with Twitter.
Careful what you ask for, Drew.
Yeah, that's true. There's Pat Valleca. Pat hustled in from Las Vegas, and he was activated when DJ LeMahieu was placed on the disabled list right before the ball game. Again, DJ hurt his thumb swinging the bat yesterday in his third AB. It's his left thumb, and so he was active for 5 days coming off the hamstring strain, and now he's back on the DL. He had never been on the DL in his life. This is on one hop to Villanueva, 1 out. I mean, I've said that before. High school, college, he was never hurt. Pro ball, he's never been hurt. And he did something. Spilly, you've been there where it's unusual the bottom hand flies off the bat.
We all know DJ finishes with 2 hands, but I can think back to maybe a handful of players that I've ever seen get injured on a swing. I remember Carlos Gonzalez. I remember Dexter Fowler having an injury with the thumb during his swing, but it's rare to see the bottom hand. Top hand, you can understand it. Top hand, there's times where you're getting the bat through the zone and you're putting a lot of torque on your hand. The bottom hand, I'm curious if there is anything pre-existing. If there was did he dive when he was playing infield? Did something roll? It's strange to see, Drew.
Every once in a while, you've seen where a guy got jammed really badly. The bat gets blown up.
Still top hand.
Yeah. Did you use the thumb guard, Spilly?
I would occasionally use it. Felt uncomfortable. But I also would hit with the bat already in my fingertips. And when I did have my palm blown up because I couldn't get the bat head out, Keith Duggar, Rockies trainer, would make me a pad that I could wear inside my batting glove that would protect my thumb.
2-2. Tyler Anderson looking for his first hit in over a year. His last hit came April 4th of last year. He's 0 for his last 33 at the plate. Villanueva feels his pain. Of course, Tyler's not paid to hit. Rockies have been a great road team so far this year, despite not lighting it up offensively. They're hitting just .215 on the road, but they're 15-8. And Anderson works it full. Here's the 3-2. And a walk.
Good at bat.
Yeah, that'll baby Tyler. So he jogs down to first, and that'll bring up Chuck Nasty. And it takes us to our AT&T Achieving More. Spilly, pay attention, because you're on this list. 801st career game, all as a Colorado Rocky, originally a Rocky second-round pick. 4th player in team history to play 500-plus games, all with Colorado. You know who's on that list? Todd Helton's on that list.
He said me.
Charlie's on that list. Nolan's on that list. And one Ryan Spilligus on the list also.
I don't even need a shower.
You don't even need to shower. 619 games, all in purple for Spilly. Charlie bounced to short his first time up. Did you know you were on that list?
I had no idea.
We try to create lists that you can be on.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because we love you.
Dougie loves me.
That's a strike. Dougie tolerates you. You have no microphone, Doug. Or you can just sit there and laugh. You can make faces at us, but you cannot have a microphone to respond. That's how we roll. 1-1 on Chuck Nasty with Anderson at first and 1 out. And Charlie drives it to center field. It's got to get down, and it will. And a good read for Anderson. He hasn't been on the bases much in a year. We established that. He did a good job, Spilly.
He went halfway, which is what you should do. 1 out. You hear the ball come off the bat. It was broken bat. Charlie took a big swing, which forced Margot to take a false step backwards, so he misread it. Just that sound. If you're at a ballpark, it's the only way that you can hear the actual crack of the bat and the sound of the ball that you can understand. That's what outfielders are trying to hear, because it can give you insight whether to take a step forward or take a step back.
Real chance for the Rockies here. 2 on, 1 out. Noel Cuevas. And he takes inside. If you're wondering, Cuevas, big, fast guy, is he ever hit in the 2 spot? Well, I was wondering the same thing. I asked him, and he said when he was in the Dodger organization coming up, he hit a lot of leadoff and a lot of 2-hole. With the Rockies, he's been more of a 3-hole guy in their organization. He's done a good job since being called to the big leagues, primarily starting against lefties. He's done a good job coming off the bench as a pinch hitter. Looking for his first big league RBI. 2-0. Good patience there for Cuevas.
So you saw the numbers with runners in scoring position. 222 on the season for the Rockies with runners in scoring position. Luke Casey, 182 on the season with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, for the Rockies, the numbers with runners in scoring position historically poor. This down the line, it is a foul ball.
Now, we've been calling Luke Casey a Rubik's Cube, but if you've ever had a Rubik's Cube, there's stickers on it. Eventually, you're just going to have to peel the stickers off and solve it. Yeah.
You said I did it? You took the whites and you put them all together when it was, really?
After that amount of time when you've spent and you can't get it right, you have to peel the stickers off. It's time to peel the stickers off with Casey.
When you cheat at Rubik's Cube, it reveals things about you that shouldn't be revealed.
It's not easy to solve a Rubik's Cube.
No. I think that was the point. Still a hitter's count for Cuevas, 2-1 with Arenado on deck, hoping to get some more fastballs in this situation, hitting in front of Nolan. Outfield straight up. This ball is popped up to Hosmer, and that'll be the 2nd out. See if Nolan can come through. Nolan a sharp single to right center with 2 outs in the 1st. He's the owner of 8 career home runs at Petco Park. That's a called strike, and again, you can see it's off the plate in, but this is where, Spill, you said it before, you have to adjust not only to the pitcher, you got to adjust to the home plate umpire. And Larry Vanover has a pretty lenient zone east and west. Well, Nolan keeps climbing up every category within the Rockies organization. I'm sure at some point in time would be #1 in a lot of categories. One more hit and he ties the big cat for 10th on the all-time hit list. It's a good road trip. He could pass your close friend Matt Holliday. Ooh, look out. Did that get somebody in the Padres dugout? It may have.
If anything, it forced him off the top step. Skip Schumacher leaning up against the rail, former teammate of mine. First year as a first base coach, teasing his buddies. There's Glenn Hoffman laughing at Skip.
1-2 on Nolan. Anderson walked. He's at second. Blackman pushed him there with a bloop single to center. That was clearly in. 2-2.
And this is why a veteran catcher behind the plate in A.J. Ellis is probably getting some of those borderline strikes working with Larry Vanover, is because he understands that the zone might be a little bit big in certain aspects. So A.J.'s going to push his luck, challenge a hitter in, and see if he can work him for an extra strike.
Well, you got two longtime veterans working this game with Chris Ionette on the Rockies side. 2-2. Nolan saw that the whole way, fouled it off.
And even when you're looking at the Subaru strike zone, you can understand what they're trying to do to Nolan. They're trying to get Nolan to think inside because they want to get him to go away. And with those pitches Lucchese's throwing inside to Nolan, there's not a lot you can do. There's not damage in that spot. It's a foul ball.
Well, typically to righties, he does what he's doing there. He comes in off the plate, and you have to look away because he's going to be middle away when he's in the strike zone. See, there he comes in. And again, it's not for a strike. It's going to straighten the guy up, and then he'll try to get hitters out on the right side away. That's what he has done so effectively, not only against the Rockies. I mean, this kid has a 2.98 ERA through 8 big league ball games in his rookie year. He's been the best rookie starting pitcher so far in the National League. 3-2. Runners will be moving. And a base hit, and the Rockies will take the lead. Anderson around third coming home. Blackman goes to third. Nolan Arenado comes through. 1-0 Colorado. 23rd RBI for Nolan. Terrific at bat. And the Rockies, again, 18-4. Spilly, as you like to point out, when they score first.
So important to go back and just think about this inning. Tyler Anderson working the walk. You wanted to have the quality of bats at the top of the lineup. You want to see Blackman come through, gets a base hit, and then it sets it up for Nolan. Grinding through a bat. He's seen Lucchese in the curveball, the changeup, whatever you want to call it. It's hanging, it's up. And the Rockies finally peel some stickers off the Rubik's Cube, and they solved it.
And speaking of the Rubik's Cube, as Trevor Story comes up, maybe don't treat it as a changeup, Spilly. Treat it, like you said, as a curveball, or as Trevor Story called it before the game today, a curve.
It's a two-pitch mix. Just treat him like Rich Hill. It's a curveball, fastball. That's it.
Here's Story, sitting third in the National League in ribbies with 32. And this ball's lined to center field, but it's right at Margot. The Rockies score with Anderson coming around for the second time this year. He scored earlier after walking. 1-0 Colorado.
walking, and Nolan Arenado's single that got that run in. Tyler Anderson against the Padres has been pitching extremely well. 2 starts prior, 12 innings pitched, 12 strikeouts, only 2 walks. He has pitched extremely well against the Padres because he's challenged them with fastball. It's something that Bud Black had him go through a mental adjustment. Hey, be more aggressive with your fastball. Don't worry about nibbling on the edges. It'll set up for your changeup.
Off the plate, ball 1 on Freddie Galvis. This is the 43rd game played by Galvis. He and Parra have played more baseball than anybody else in the National League. And that cuts over the middle of the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. Freddie has played in 206 straight ball games, which is the 2nd longest streak in baseball right now. This is down the line, fair. And he's going to run to that corner. Galvis is going to stop at second. So a leadoff double for Galvis. First base runner tonight for the Padres. Galvis historically has not done a whole lot against Rockies pitching, but he hurt Anderson there getting the bat head out.
Galvis gets the cutter out over the plate. Just shoots it right past Nolan. I think if you're looking at where the Padres line up, portion leadoff base runner at second, A.J. Ellis is going to try to hit. Pitcher spot on deck. He's not bunting.
A.J. has been swinging the bat pretty well. He's 5 for his last 10, and he's thrown out a double in each of the last 3 games. Forced into more regular action in the absence of Austin Hedges. This is big. If you can get A.J., especially if you can get him without Freddie Galvis moving 90 feet, you have the pitcher next. It gives you a great opportunity to work out of this deal. Same spot, 2-0.
Well, this is textbook how you pitch to a right-handed hitter with the runner on second, knowing that he's trying to move somebody over. On the super strike zone, you saw 2 pitches, fastball in. You're basically setting up for a changeup away. You're trying to get the hitter to pull, to roll over. If he swings at the fastball in, he hits it towards third.
He lifts this to right and pretty deep in that corner. Cuevas does not have a play.
I had a coach in the minor leagues that said, Spilly, when a guy's at second base, why do you always try to inside out and shoot it opposite field? Why don't you just try to hit the ball as hard as you can at the third baseman? You know they're throwing fastballs in. Why don't you just try to destroy a baseball? And I was like, that's a great point. Moved off the plate, hit the ball as hard as I could at the third base, didn't move anybody over, and I go, well, it's because it's not a quality at bat.
Well, A.J. Ellis going to get the job done. Worked inside out there. 4-3 is how you score. Joey Lucchese now will come up.
Looking to come to a game? There's always great Rockies ticket deals available. Bookmark Rockies.com/specials and check back throughout the season.
Now Lucchese is going to put a little pressure on the 2 corner infielders. The Rockies will bring the infield in all together, but if you're Tyler Anderson, you have to be heads up. You got a guy with pretty good wheels at third base. You wonder if they'll squeeze with the pitcher. That pitch misses, ball 1. Well, Lucchese takes a long look at the veteran third base coach Glenn Hoffman. Steps back in. Lucchese without a hit in his young big league career. One and one.
Reaction of Luke Casey. I'm curious how he missed that pitch. Because you're not a hitter.
With a left-handed pitcher, obviously it's a little easier if you squeeze because the runner at third is going to get a larger lead. 2-1. But then that runner at third has to make sure, because he's on the open, it's the open side. He has to, as soon as that pitch passes the plate, he's got to work back to the bag quickly. Pretty good angle of it. Good pitch. Anderson just reared back and said, hit it if you can. 2-2. Rockies up 1-0 on a base hit last inning from Nolan Arenado. And he's gone full 3-2.
Luke Casey's 6'5", and he's already thrown a fastball above the belt. They got a swing and miss. However, you want the ground ball out if he puts it in play. A ball above the belt, you may get the swing and miss, but he could also punch it in the outfield.
He missed and walked Luke Casey. So Anderson, who was walked by Luke Casey, returned the favor, and he didn't want to do that. Now you have a guy who can run. You got to play for two up the middle. But Black disappointed. You had a situation there. You got to get rid of the pitcher without a career hit so far, and you could have had the second out with Margot up there. And now the odds aren't quite the same getting out of this. Walks have not been an issue the last 4 games for Tyler Anderson. 19 strikeouts, just 5 walks.
The walks have been an issue for him on the season, though. Over
the first part of the season.
Yeah, I mean, he has a 4 walks per 9, which is far more than where he was last year. He's averaging 2.5 walks per 9.
That's a bad one right there. 0-1, Margot, and there's the squeeze. That's going to work. In fact, it'll go for a hit. Perfect bunt by Margot. So we're tied at 1. And that is still a play he could have utilized with 2 outs, but it would have been less likely that he would have done it.
Margot, who's been struggling, hitting 200 against lefties, playing the game, pushing it right in between Desmond and Anderson. It gives Galvis an opportunity to see the ball down. It's a well-executed play by the Padres.
Eric Hosmer grounded to first in the first inning. 2 on and 1 out for the big threat in the Padres lineup. 5 home runs. Two strikes on Hosmer. .339 lifetime hitter against the Rockies, but most of that damage has been done at Coors Field. And this is going to move the runners up. It wasn't hit hard enough for Desi to have a chance to look to second. Get plus speed from Margot. So second and third, 2 outs. And Jose Perella will come up.
Parra has been a thorn in the Rockies' side throughout the 10 games that the Rockies and Padres have played, and these type of situations, the Padres have excelled. 2 outs, runners in scoring position. Check out where they lead in the National League in Major League Baseball, 306 with runners in scoring position, 2 outs.
And that's an area the Rockies were great in 2017, and so far in 2018, not so much.
The 306 is second in Major League Baseball, but first in the National League.
1 strike on Perella with 2 in scoring position. And this goes off the glove of Iannetta. They may have a play at the plate. They will. That is a great break. Chris got there in a hurry. Anderson made sure he got there, and Lucchese's tagged out. Huge break for the Rockies. Well, the Padres get the equalizer. So it's 1-1 going to the 4th.
Awkward play. Lucchese, 6'5", not quick, but tried to sneak his big leg in there.
Glad Tyler realized he was on the wrong side of the plate after catching that ball from Iannetta. So he tagged him out, and we'll move on to the 4th inning. It scored a wild pitch, and Iannetta got there in a hurry, and so did Anderson. We work on this all the time, and this time it worked out. And Anderson turned around to tag, and then finally found Lucchese.
It's like that awkward greeting you have with somebody that maybe you haven't met before, and you don't know whether to shake their hands or hug them. This is that equivalent. Got the out.
So we go to the 4th inning. Desmond Iannetta and Parra to face Lucchese. Desmond a strikeout his first time up.
It's interesting for Lucchese this offseason. Clayton Richard means a lot to the organization. We know that. The Padres know that. Andy Green talks about just how important he is to the youth and to what he means to the rotation. And during the offseason, it was Lucchese and Eric Lauer. They spent some time with Clayton Richard in his home in Lafayette, Indiana. And part of the reason why was that they really felt that Lucchese and Lauer were going to have an opportunity to be part of this starting rotation. And Lucchese credits a lot of what Clayton Richard said to him during that time frame while they were working out in the offseason to some of the success he's had. early in his major league career.
Well, Clayton Richards a great tutor for any young pitcher, so well thought of. They have a couple of guys on their staff, Tyson Ross being another one, who are just grade A guys. 1 strike count on Desmond. And that's a strike as well. And again, you can see it's off the plate on the Subaru strike zone, but Larry Vanover's been calling that pitch a strike. Desmond's quietly having a conversation with him. He's not showing him up by looking at him, but kind of kicking around some dirt, and his head's down. And that's the veteran way of doing it.
Well, we'll see what happens if he gets it called again. If it ends his at bat with the pitch off the Subaru strike zone.
One in the 4th. And that is strike 3. That was clearly in the zone. That'll bring up Bionetta.
It looks like the curve runs back. And for Ian Desmond, I get it. I mean, we've all been, if you played this game long enough, you go through stretches, and there's nothing worse. There is nothing worse for a player going through a tough stretch.
Cordero just got to wait. Got that on the barrel. Did Chris Ionetta, just worked underneath it a little bit. 2 outs. That'll bring up Parra.
Going back to Desmond, from a player's perspective of having lived it, having grinded through it, it's everybody offering advice. There's a period where nobody talks to you. Nobody says a word to you. Let them grind it out. Then there's a period where everybody's offering advice to you. Then you just get to a point where you're asking the postman that's walking by, what do you see with my swing? You're asking the camera crew. You watch me every night. What do you see? Eventually, all it takes is something to click at the plate, whether it's a base hit to right.
Well, you hope so. I mean, he's had a couple of moments. He's hit some big home runs this year, and you think, okay, now it's going to. He had the 2 home run games Sunday against the Mets in Queens. You think, okay, that will get him going. I'm sure he felt like, okay, that will get me going, and unfortunately, it hasn't yet. But he is a guy that does grind. This is down the line, and it is a foul ball. So Parra's got to come back. If you remember his last year in Washington, he had turned down a very lucrative deal and did not have a great year for the Nationals. He ended up signing a 1-year deal with the Texas Rangers and resurrected himself offensively there, playing a new position. He was moved to the outfield,
He's
left
an
and then
all-star.
center. Yep, he was an all-star there. On the red clay of Roland Garros, that was out. On the red clay at Petco, we just say foul.
Foul ball.
2 strikes on Parra with 2 outs in the 4th. And the Rockies done in the 4th very quickly. 1-1 as we go to the bottom of inning number 4 at Petco. Southwest Airlines, low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Jose Parra is going to lead it off, and big curveball that just missed. Drew Goodman, Ryan Spilborghs, 2 ball games in San Diego, then a day off, and the Rockies will play 4 against the Giants at AT&T. First time they've seen San Francisco this year, and then after that, the first time they'll get to see the Dodgers, 3 at Dodger Stadium. 9-game road trip. In the first couple of months of this season, the Rockies, road warriors, and they've been great out on the road so far, winning a lot of tight games. 15-8. And this has the earmark, Spilly, early on of one of those low-scoring tight games. You kind of figure when you're coming out to California, you're going to play a number of those. Former Padre manager Buddy Black and his right-hand man, Mike Redmond. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Parra, riding a little 5-game hitting streak.
And for the Rockies, they have been built the last 2 years to be able to win 1-run games. With the bullpen, the way the starting rotation has pitched, and really the offense being a home run hitting offense. If that's the way that you score runs, that allows you to win 1-run ball games. You just run into one pitch. You don't have to put an offensive approach or team at bats together to get that extra run.
And a strikeout. That is the 3rd strikeout for Anderson, and that'll bring up the struggling Christian Villanueva. On the Road is brought to you by Lazy Days RV. And here's what May and the beginning of June looks like. So after this road trip, the Rockies will come home to play the Reds, the Red Hot Reds. Winners are 6 in a row. The Giants come a-calling. The Dodgers come a-calling. So the Rockies will finally be home for an extended period, a 9-gamer. And then it's off to Cincinnati. And in May, the Rockies are the only team in the division to be above 500.
The NL West has not played good baseball in May. We get that. There is a point, I believe it is on Saturday, where every team in the NL West had a multiple game losing streak going.
But I'm glad you mentioned that. It goes back to what we discussed at the top of the broadcast. Villanueva fouls it off, 1-2. And that is, the Rockies have to make hay right now. The Dodgers are not playing well. They're a beat-up club. The Giants have just been okay. Arizona has taken on a little bit of water lately after a fabulous start. You got to take advantage when you're playing head-to-head against those teams. This is to left field, and it'll drop. And Villanueva's 0 for 37 is over. And you could just look at the relief on his face. And Skip Schumacher just slaps him on the back.
He's giving him a hug.
Bear hug, yep.
And this ball got in on him, too. It's not like he squared up the baseball. Broken bat, he probably thought Parra was going to catch it. Here's the look of relief. There's a period where Villanueva was leading the National League in on-base percentage plus slugging, OPS.
Oh, remember the 2 home runs he hit against the Rockies earlier this year? You were right. You saw him mouth the words, "I want the baseball." Actually, he had a 3-homer game. I said a 2-homer. He had a 3-homer game against the Rockies. Franchi Cordero with an 0-1 count. Iannetta couldn't steal that strike. 1-1. Here's what the division looks like head-to-head. Arizona is taking advantage of the Dodgers and They're off to a great start inside the division, 16-8. The Rockies haven't played many, 7-6, but they're the only other team above 500. The Giants 11-12, the Dodgers 12-16, the Padres, you see 11-15. So a very important stretch for the Rockies. 12 of their next 15 inside the NL West. A division that you knew was going to be really competitive at the start of the year. And it looks more wide open than ever. Slowly hit, and Desmond makes a good feed. Nothing doing at first. Cordero runs exceptionally well. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Franmil Reyes for his second major league at bat.
Well, both Franmil and Franchi, both from the Dominican Republic, very close, good friends. And watching them warm up together, you can tell Franchi was extremely excited for Franmil earning his first opportunity to have a major league game, his debut.
The Padres, traded away so many veteran players the last couple of years, and all they took back, for the most part, were well thought of youngsters. Well, now their farm system is really well thought of. #1 in some circles in all of baseball. So much so that this kid, Reyes, 22, 25 home runs, 102 in Double-A last year. 14 home runs already this year, more than anybody else in professional baseball. He's not listed among the top 30 prospects in the Padres organization. At least he wasn't at the start of the year. Now, those things can change and sometimes change dramatically. But here he is in the big leagues. He's not on any of those top prospect lists.
Well, and
ball, 1 strike.
For some of the other teams out there, that means he wasn't protected when it came to with the Rule 5 draft. It means any team, because he wasn't protected on the 40-man roster, they could have had him. They could have picked him off a roster. They could have picked him off the Padres roster.
Two outs. Here's the 1-1 on Reyes. That's a strike. And the Rockies have a definitive game plan on Reyes. They're hitting him with hard stuff. 94 on that last fastball, and Anderson struck him out his first time on a fastball up in the zone. And they got him picked off. Throw to second.
They're calling a balk on Tyler Anderson. Hunter Wendelstedt at first base, immediately pointing. As soon as he picked over to first, he was immediately pointing, saying that it was a balk. Anderson confused on why it was called a balk. We'll have to look at it from maybe a different angle.
I've watched this game for 50 years. You played at the big league level. Can you tell when a lefty balks?
No, I can't.
Neither can I. I have no idea.
I don't.
It's like a flip of a coin. You could probably call a balk every time if you wanted.
You probably could.
Or not call a balk. It's like an arbitrary thing. He had a few last year, though, didn't he, if I remember right?
Mm-hmm.
That's his first this year. The Rockies only have one other balk. Bettis was called for a balk. Well, refocus. You're ahead 1-2 on Reyes.
And Reyes just missed a pitch he could handle.
Well, that's not where Anderson or Iannetta wanted that pitch. That was more center cut.
Now, going back to the balk, typically, if you look at the rubber, a left-hander, if his knee breaks this imaginary plane, that's why all of us get confused with left-handed balks, but there's an imaginary line between the rubber. And if you break that imaginary line, you have to go towards home plate. If you're throwing to first, you have to take a step towards first base to not deceive the hitter.
which is such a silly way to write it because you are always trying to deceive runners, hitters, etc.
Agreed.
2 swipes means go 2 down from whatever pitch was called. Actually, Chris going to go through the signs again. 1 ball, 2 strikes on the kid Reyes. That cuts inside, 2-2. Here's an overhead view of the ball.
So if his body starts leaning towards home, which is what I'm assuming Hunter saw, is that his body's leaning towards home, which is deceiving the hitter. Even though he didn't break the imaginary line, he's going to call that a balk.
2-2, ground ball to short. Story gets behind it, high throw, threw it away. And that will allow the run to score. A routine play, and Trevor just had that thing float on him. His 4th error of the year, and that's a costly one.
So a balk to put Franchi in scoring position. Franchi running right in front of Trevor, maybe took his eye off it a little bit. Doesn't really set his feet towards first base. And just airmails it.
A rare error for Story, a rare error for the Rockies. Line drive over the head of Castro. And Galvis is 2 for 2. That balk becomes large. That'll bring up A.J. Ellis.
It's a fastball up in the zone. Castro does his best. He's thinking back to DJ LeMahieu on the disabled list, 6'4" second baseman.
You get no knock on Castro. It's probably a ball that DJ is able to catch because he is so tall. Ellis a ground ball to second to move Galvis to third after Freddie had a leadoff double in the 3rd inning. That's a strike. And Story zips it to Castro. That'll end the inning, but the error allows the go-ahead run to score. We'll go to the 5th inning, 2-1 San Diego from Petco. On Twitter to cast your vote. I'm sure you probably caught wind of this today. Do you agree with the Supreme Court's decision to allow gambling on sports?
Can
enormous ramifications in the individual sports. You figure they can get a piece of that, and so you have more revenue going to the individual sports. I almost look at it more importantly. I'll get to my thoughts in a moment. This is Major League Baseball's statement. As each state considers whether to allow sports betting, we'll continue to seek the proper protections for our sport. In partnership with other professional sports, our most important priority is protecting the integrity of our games. And that has to be foremost on the minds of the commissioners in the 4 major sports in the United States and Canada. But if a state were to allow legal betting, like we've had in Nevada, legal sports betting, here's Castro. Ultimately, you're talking about a whole new large revenue stream. They could impact education, infrastructure, roads, etc.
Sure.
From a community standpoint, could be enormous. Castro a bouncer to third his first time. 2-1 the Rockies trail.
I think the important part as we watch what happens, because more and more states are probably going to opt into it, because as your point is, look, the tax revenue for this is huge. There's $150 billion. That's what the B spent in gambling last year, illegal gambling.
This ball's lifted in deep left field by Castro's got a chance to get out. Gone. Tie ball game. First home run in a Rockies uniform for Daniel Castro. An unlikely power source.
Castro getting the curveball down and in, right where he wants it.
He got the churve.
He got the churve, and he churved it out of here. Rockies slowly pulling stickers off the Rubik's Cube.
Castro's third career home run back in 2015. He had a couple with the Braves. Chatting with him before the ball game. He's played at Petco before, but when the Rockies later in the week go to San Francisco, it'll be his first time playing at AT&T. And trying to be a good guy, I told him dress warm.
Nice.
I want to give him nice, proper advice. I said wear the sleeves when you get to AT&T. That was big. 1-1 on Anderson. And this is up the middle. Anderson with his first hit in more than a year. He broke the 0 for 33.
Today's game's been crazy. Are you kidding me?
Different stuff happening, huh?
Are you kidding me? Villanueva breaks an 0 for 37 streak. Anderson gets a first hit in a year. Castro with a home run, probably the one character on the Rockies squad that you would least assume would hit a home run tonight off Lucchesi. There's the curveball grip. And the Subaru Supermo right into Castro's nitro zone. Let me show you what this grip looks like and how Lucchesi throws it.
Blackman with nobody out.
I spent some time with Mark Grant, who is the broadcaster with the San Diego Padres, and he showed me. He's like, Spilly, it's a circle change grip, but he throws it like a curveball. And it's interesting when you think about that. It essentially, he's throwing the ball with the curveball grip, with the curveball action, but with a circle change grip.
I don't know if I've ever heard of that before.
Never heard it either. But we watch it time and time again, and that's exactly how Lucchesi throws it. 3-finger Mordecai Brown changeup. Throws it like a curveball. There's the circle grip, and he throws it like a curveball.
Yeah, that is wild looking. Charlie's behind 0-2. Anderson, his first hit since April 4th of last year. And Blackman with a hard shot to Galvis. And they get him at first. 6-4-3 double play. Lucchese was drafted in the 4th round out of Southeast Missouri State in 2016. He's the 2nd fastest in that draft class to the big leagues. And it does not look like he's going back. Not the way he's thrown the baseball. Here's Cuevas. He gets that curve for a strike. It's got some Rich Hill properties to it in how slow a curveball it is. But again, whatever you want to call it. This ball's launched deep left field. It's got a chance. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. First career home run, Noel Cuevas. That a baby Noel. And his first career RBI. And it gives the Rockies a 3-2 lead. He told us before the game, he said, if I see a fastball early, I'm aggressive. That's how I've always been.
Over the last couple weeks, watching Cuevas play, I'm hoping Rockies fans have an appreciation for how he plays the game. Plays it hard. He's taking quality at bats as a pinch hitter.
He's done everything right.
He's done everything right. He's done everything right. Coaching staff loves him, and he's going to continue to get opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a lefty on the mound, he's going to be out there. That is called a fair ball, and Nolan is out. But the Rockies go deep. One especially unlikely source, Daniel Castro. Cuevas hit home runs in the minor leagues. He had 53 of them. But that is career home run number 1 for Cuevas, and the Rockies are up a run in the middle of the 5th. Cuevas, with his first career, gave the Rockies the 3-2 lead. Matt Caesar is pinch hitting, and that is a hot shot past Nolan, and it's going to be a leadoff double for Caesar. Pinch hitting for Lucchese.
A little surprised to see Lucchese come out of the game, but understanding San Diego and the way it's difficult to score runs. Andy Green goes straight to the bench, first pitch swinging. And for the second time tonight, after the Rockies score, leadoff double following the inning.
Here's why it's not a huge surprise. They pulled him last game against the Angels, not against the Angels,
Nationals.
against the Nationals, 5 innings. He'd allowed 1 run on 6 hits, struck out 6, walked 1, 69 pitches they pulled him. And what the organization's doing with him, he is clearly, for them, going to be an upper echelon starting pitcher. And so they are really being careful, not just in how many innings he throws, but how many pitches he throws. He's been over 100 just once. And so by design, they're really limiting the number of bullets, because in a 3-2 game, the way he's pitched and his history against the Rockies, you're not going to pull him in the 5th inning ordinarily, but they're looking long term. They did it in his last start. So after 71 pitches, Lucchesi is done.
Is it okay if I don't like it?
You can dislike it all you want, and probably A.J. Preller and company are not real concerned with you and I think. Nor should they be.
They should.
2 balls and a strike on Manuel Margot. And here's Kaz Makita, your old buddy. Good pitch. Now Anderson's really going to have to put together an inning to keep San Diego from tying it up. Hosmer on deck after Margot. Two-two, line to deep left, and Parra leaps and makes the catch. 1 out. Caesar stays at second.
This is a fantastic play by Parra, even though it was a bad jump, a bad read, in that he makes up for it. Had to readjust his route, had to change his body. He's lucky that wasn't a double. And he knows it. He can tell by the body language and the sigh of relief. Whew.
Eric Hosmer twice has hit a ground ball to Desmond at first. Seen, by my count, I think 3 curveballs tonight. Maybe it's been 4, and they're all to open up and at bat.
I appreciate the tweet. It is an unbelievable catch because he made up for a bad read and bad route.
Good pitch. Change up on the inside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Good to see the number of ground balls that Anderson has gotten tonight. And the reason I say that is his last 3 games he's had a ground ball rate around 55%, which is his game. The first 5 starts this year, the ball was in the air. He had a 21% ground ball rate. And this ball is tanked toward right center field. It's going to tie up the ball game. 2 doubles in the inning, and we're at 3-3 on the 14th RBI for Eric Hosmer.
Well, fastball center cut. Anderson wanted that pitch more inside to Eric Hosmer, and he's able to split the gap right in between Charlie Blackmon and Noel Cuevas. You can already tell tonight's going to be one of those nights where it's going to go back and forth.
Perella at the plate, a ground ball to third and a strikeout. 1 out. Go ahead run at second, and Hosmer spiked the changeup. 1-0. The Rockies' ground ball percentage overall. It's down 2-0. Anderson came in, striking out a little more than a hitter an inning, which is about par for the course now, especially for bullpens. Of course, he's not a bullpen guy, but look at bullpens now. It's more than a hitter per inning. Runner takes off, Hosmer for third, and he's safe there. Eric Hosmer with a big swipe at third. See how the Rockies play it defensively with one out.
Second stolen base on the season for Eric Hosmer, and it has been an issue for Tyler Anderson with base runners at second. He has the double move with his windup, with his delivery. It was a good play by Nolan Arenado to keep the ball from getting into the outfield.
Rockies bring the infield in. 3-0 on Parra, 3-1. This is, and you alluded to it earlier, perhaps the quickest infield in the National League. I was talking to Trevor Story about it. It's lightning quick. 3-2.
Unless you hit it on the dirt, on the mud in front of home plate.
Looks like a putting green in the grass. He's running about 11 on the stent meter. And this is popped up. Castro going back, and coming in is Cuevas. And that's exactly how that should work. Especially with the infield in. Cuevas hustled in. All his momentum going to the plate. I've seen it, so have you, Spilly, where in a situation like that, when an infielder, if he had to make the play with his back to home plate, even if he's only 150 feet away, sometimes you'll see a runner at third tag.
Otherwise, the runner is halfway. It's one of the few times you'll see a runner at third base not go back to tag is on a baseball like that. They'll stay about halfway, and they'll see if the ball will drop.
Villanueva fouls that pitch off. He broke an 0 for 37 with a soft single to left. It came last inning.
We'll see if that will give him some confidence at the plate. He still needs to remember he leads all National League rookies in home runs and RBIs.
Well, he's much better against lefties than he is righties. .368 against lefties, 156 against righties. Brian Shaw has gotten up for the Rockies. 3 runs, 6 hits, an error for the Rockies. 3 runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Padres. Did he go? Nope. That's Hunter Wendelstedt down at first.
A little over a week ago, the Padres and Dodgers had a game down in Mexico. It was great to see baseball being played. When Villanueva grew up, his favorite player was a great Mexican-born Rocky, Vinny Castilla.
3-2. Well, it would make sense. Third baseman, powerful guy like Villanueva.
Andy Green was talking about for Villanueva when he was down there for that series that the amount of press and PR and appearances he had to make was a little overwhelming.
3-2, and he popped him up. Playable for Trevor Story. In the inning, a double by Caesar, pinch hitting, and he was brought home by Eric Hosmer. So we're tied again at 3, going to the 6th. Wednesday. They'll spend part of it here in San Diego, then head up north to San Francisco to play 4 against the Giants beginning Thursday night. Rockies, as we embark on the 6th inning, we'll have Trevor Story, Ian Desmond, Chris Iannetta, and they'll see a new arm. Kazuhisa Makita is now in the ball game. Former teammate of my partner over in Japan.
Yeah, he's a submariner with Cebu Lions, a team I played for. Makita was sent down to the minor leagues, is struggling a little bit, 6.75 ERA, recently recalled.
And he's a guy that can get more than 3 outs for you when he's going well. Andy Green's had him work multiple innings a couple of times. Trevor lays down a bunt. Nikita gets there and just did, with a perfect throw, get Story. I like the idea.
The Rockies don't have very good numbers against Makita. He has held Rockies hitters to a .067 batting average. They're now 1 for 16, so that's going to go down. Padres bullpen of late too, been pitching very well. 40 2/3 inning, only 10 earned runs given up.
Desmond on that pitch, but he fouls it straight back. A couple of strikeouts tonight for Desmond. Well, the pen that you mentioned, that's lined to center field, base hit. So with 1 out, the Rockies have speed aboard. Their pen has the 6th best ERA in baseball at 3.17. Their starters, not so much. They're over 5, which is 24th best in baseball.
Looking for an affordable way to entertain family, friends, clients, or employees? Ask about the Sunday Monday Super Suite Special. Tickets start at $100 per person and include a catering package.
Here's Iannetta.
Iannetta's hit the ball hard twice tonight. Flew out deep to right field in his first at bat and just missed a home run in the 4th inning as he flew out to left field.
Nikita submariner, but he still gets the baseball to the plate pretty quickly. His first 2 pitches, 1.27, 1.20, 1.3 is about league average. You start getting around 1.4 or so, and guys who can run, their eyes get real wide. Well, Desmond takes off, and it's fouled off at the plate.
Just looking at it, how Iannetta swung at that pitch, that may have been a hit and run. With Desmond on the run, on the move, a sinker down and in. Looked like Iannetta was just making sure he put the ball in play. Fouled that tough sinker off his foot.
One and 2. And this is lined to right. Good piece of hitting there. So 2 on, 1 out for Parra. Gerardo, 2 ground outs so far in the game.
Having faced Makita myself in Japan, it's an interesting for a hitter because it's almost counterintuitive. Whenever you're watching somebody throw from that arm angle, you automatically tilt your head and start looking down because you want to look and see the ball coming out of his hand. And the way to hit it is you have to stand yourself up. You almost have to puff out your chest. and look for the ball up. Because a hitter, once they start tilting, it changes the bat angle and how you swing. And so for a hitter, if you're facing a guy like Makita, you almost try to stand as tall as possible and look for a ball up.
Ball and a strike on Gerardo Parra. And this ball's hit to deep right field. This is way back, and this is gone. Who doesn't like a 3-run bomb? 6-3 Colorado. That ball may not have been up, but it went up, and away. For Parra, just his second home run of the year. That was timely.
Parra with the start tonight against the lefty, and now he gets the right-handed reliever, gets one down and in. He knew it off the bat.
First home run since March the 30th.
The offense tonight for the Rockies is coming from places I don't think the Rockies were expecting.
Well, the bottom of the order, we've chronicled it many times, has really struggled, 5 through 8. Daniel Castro at the plate, he's hit a home run. Noel Cuevas hit his first career home run last inning. And now Parra with a home run. You don't come to Petco and think, yeah, we're going to throw out 3 bombs in a 6 spot. That doesn't happen here. 75th career home run for Parra. 3rd for Castro, and as I mentioned, the 1st for Cuevas. This is popped up to shallow center. Margot. 2 outs. Saw a stat recently. 3-run home runs. I'm trying to think what the other category was, and it was, which do you think you win a higher percentage? If you hit a 3-run home run, I got the whole
Or
story.
3 solo home runs? Like
No, it had nothing to do with home run. It had to do with a pitching, a quality start. I think it was a quality start, and you say, okay, which wins a higher percentage of games? The day that you have a quality start, or a 3-run home run? Actually, it's 3-run home run. You win about 2/3 of the time when you have a guy in your lineup hit a 3-run home run. It's Earl Weaver baseball. Rockies have a 3-run home run. They have a 3-run lead, 6-3.
shot has the Rockies up 6-3. Rockies baseball is always live with the MLB at Bat mobile app. Stay connected all season with video highlights, stats, news, and more. Just replay Gerardo's homer over and over and over again.
Put it on a loop. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Franchi Cordero, Franmil Reyes, Freddie Galvis, the 3 Fs.
Best friends.
Did you, was that what you were doing when you were scribbling on the plane last night, scratching things
Took
out?
me 2 hours.
Yeah. Useful time on the flight.
That's what I came up with.
Cordero's 0 for 2.
You know that's a t-shirt. That's going to be a t-shirt if Franmil does really well. Has a nice career with the Padres and Franchi.
That was a dirty cutter, by the way. Best friends. Sounds like they're from Mobile, Alabama.
Kind of does.
1 and 2. 92 pitches for Anderson. This is an inning Buddy would like to see him get through, or at least part of it, before turning it over to the bullpen. And on the ground to Nolan, the old shortstop. He comes and gets it, almost took too much time. I think Nolan forgot for a moment that Cordero, big dude, can really run.
He flies long strides, 6'3". Mark McGuire checking really quick on the replay. Caught out in front, you could tell just by Nolan getting in, gathering his feet. He's used to playing the hot corner, this time at shortstop. And it was close. Hunter Wendell-Steck gets the call right at first. Mark McGuire tells Andy Green not to challenge.
I mean, by a sliver. Reyes, here's Story. And this time a low throw. His last throw across the diamond went almost into the crowd. A costly error, and that time he maybe overcompensated. But Desmond helped him out. 2 gone, and that'll bring up Galvis. That's 10 ground ball outs now for Anderson.
And that's why the changeup is so important for Anderson. And now that he's mixing his fastball and using it more, using it far more efficiently, it's creating those ground ball outs.
Well, they have the 2nd highest ground ball percentage offensively in baseball, do the Padres. Galvis a double and a single, and he's behind 0-2. Good spot. Anderson came into this ball game at 5 career games against the Padres, a 1-1 record, but a 1.80 ERA. Went quick, lifted to left center field. Long run for Charlie. Will he get there? Lays out, can't get it. And Galvis taking a look, will end up at 3rd with a 2-out triple. That is an area, Spilly, you have said this many times, you can dive going gap to gap because you have a buddy out there.
So you try not to dive if you're in center field, but the ball's directly in front of you. To the sides, it's okay because you have a buddy, you have lefter, you have Gerardo Parra there to back you up, and Charlie gave just a step off of it. It was an off-speed pitch down and in that Galvis, even though the Rockies are playing it to hit the ball opposite field, he's able to get the bat head out in front. Let's see if Buddy makes a change, and he's going to.
Yeah, Buddy's going to take the baseball from Anderson with A.J. Ellis up. We'll see Brian Shaw when we come back. The Rockies leading 6-3 on the Parra 3-run blast. leading the Padres 6-3. Here's the situation. Freddie Galvis with 2 outs unloaded a triple to left center field despite a great effort from Charlie Blackmon. So Tyler Anderson is gone. He's going to watch Brian Shaw work against A.J. Ellis and try to keep the Rockies in front by 3 runs. 23rd game for Brian Shaw. Some good and some where he's battled some command. 10 walks so far. And the league hitting .286 against him, which is unlike a typical Brian Shaw workload, but there's a whole lot of baseball left. That first pitch poured over at 95 miles an hour.
I was reading a column written by a writer in Cleveland, and it was talking about Tito Francona, who was looking at some of the numbers that Brian Shaw had with the Rockies, and he said, I don't care what Brian Shaw has. I would take him right now, right and back with this squad. The Indians miss him.
The Indians miss him. Tito Francona all spring training has been really upfront. When asked about the prospects of the Indians, he said, you know what, I like my club. He said, but the guy we may miss more than anybody, and was not a shot at Carlos Santana, was Brian Shaw, because he held so many roles in that bullpen. Setup guy, occasional closer. 0-2. And a base hit. And that's kind of been the issue. That got way too much of the plate for a 2-strike delivery, and now it's 6-4.
And A.J. Ellis hitting over 300 against right-handers. He's been given a lot more opportunities given the fact that there's been a lot of injuries to the Padres catchers, and that pitch is basically belt high, center cut. It's not a very well located or executed pitch for Brian Shaw.
The pinch hitter here in the pitcher spot is Corey Spangenberg.
That's now 23 inherited runs scored of 55 for the Rockies bullpen, which ranks 26th in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, well over 40%. If you're wondering, hey, well, what is the league average for inherited runners scoring? It's 32%. So the Rockies, after that knock, almost 10 percentage points above that. There's Mike Dunn. You always have to think several moves ahead if you're a manager. And the really good managers like Buddy Black are an expert at handling a bullpen. And Dunn is for Hosmer if it were to get that far. And you hope it does, and there's 2 outs, but you can't sit there and hope. You have to prepare.
You have to think of every possible scenario, so if it does occur, you're ready for it.
And unfortunately, you have to think of the worst case scenarios too. It's turned into a high scoring Petco affair, which is not commonplace. 6-4 Rockies. And Spangenberg is gone to end the inning. Brian Shaw will be disappointed. He gave up that 0-2 hit to A.J. Ellis. So it's a 2-run game as we go to the 7th. Well, Cuevas and Nolan Arenado. And another move on the mound after Makita was pinch hit for. Charlie's going to face the lefty Matt Strom, just his 3rd appearance since being called to the big leagues.
Strom was acquired by the Padres right before trade deadline when the Padres traded away Ryan Buchter. We remember him. Trevor Cahill and Brandon Maurer to the Kansas City Royals.
Charlie 1 for 3, and he takes strike 1. Time for the Lows, whole team together. Rockies have hit 3 home runs tonight at Petco. You can see Charlie leading the way. Todd had 10. And that's a strike. Charlie's hit 11 home runs here. Arenado with 8. Cargo not in the lineup tonight. He's got a half dozen. Our Lowe's whole team together. Let's go Yard here.
My first major league home run was.
Is that right?
Was here. Yeah.
Over the Western Metal Supply Company, as I remember now, right?
Yeah.
Over the right at the
over
top
the Marriott.
of it.
Yep.
Hit the roof of the Marriott. That was close. Ooh, Strom. Where are you going?
No.
No, you don't want to do that to Larry Vanover.
Uh-oh.
See right up there, you see the Marriott sign. I think it hit the T on the right in Marriott, if I remember right.
Yeah, no, your memory's false.
Phil's Barbecue. Three and 2. Away from Strom. Out of play. Tyler Anderson goes 5 2/3, 99 pitches, 4 runs, 3 earned, 7 hits, a couple of strikeouts. He walked 1 on the plus side. Kaz Makita has the hook for the Padres. You see that swing there, and he was on that pitch. He saw a spin the whole way, didn't he, Spilly?
He did, and what's interesting about Strom, it's a 4-pitch mix, so you can tell he's a former starter.
Outside, good at bat. So a leadoff walk for Blackman. And here comes some right-handed hitters to face Strom. Time for the Coors Light refreshing finish. Noel Cuevas in his last at bat goes yard, his first major league home run. And instantly a moment he will never forget.
We saw a Cuevas jersey on the field today during batting practice, so hopefully there's a family member that was able to watch it. Not sure if it was a cousin, who it was, but there is a Cuevas here in the stands tonight that was able to watch his first major league home run.
Buddy saw that and he said, you know, that's great when a young player and already has somebody at the yard that's got his jersey on. Ball and a strike right now, Noel.
So far, the Cuevas family has traveled well. We saw him in Miami. Saw about 40 Cuevases. Is that how you call plural version of Cuevas? Cuevi? Cuevases? What is it? Cuevi?
To be a fly on the wall of your brain. 1-1. And this is popped up behind first, and Parra will get there. 1 out. And that'll bring up Nolan. 2 for 3 and an RBI tonight for Arenado. Average at 321. Runner going, and Blackman is going to swipe second. That's the 4th stolen base for Charlie.
This is the beauty of Charlie Blackman, and for the Rockies, it's a 27th stolen base on the season. He was paying attention to the move, seeing if he had one.
That's a big bag.
It is a big bag, and for the Rockies, they're going to take advantage of A.J. Ellis behind the plate. A.J. has not been throwing out many base runners, and with a slower move, Charlie's going to take his shot.
Out there for Nolan. Two-no count. Nolan hitting .380 against lefties. 4th in the National League. .3-0. Trevor Story will be the next hitter. Rockies trying to get that run back. And now they're going to go ahead and pass on him, set up a double play possibility, except the guy at the plate is hard to double because of his speed. So 10 combined runs tonight at Petco. Check this out, though. This year, we talked about it being a pitcher's park, and it is. But they're on pace to have the highest combined runs per game ever. 2016, 904. But remember, just a few years ago, 6 runs a game. Every game's basically 3-2. And Story pops it up. Infield fly rule will be invoked. Two outs. An opportunity for Desmond. He's 1 for 3. He singled last inning sharply to center field and would score on the 3-run jack by Parra. One strike on Desmond.
As a hitter, oftentimes you'd like to have your foul balls. I know it sounds silly, but as we're watching Desmond struggle this year, I've seen so many foul balls pulled. That's not a good swing. I want to see opposite field foul balls, and he just had one.
Takes that 1-1. Rockies didn't have a lot of opportunities with runners in scoring position in the Milwaukee series. They had only 24. In comparison, the Brewers had 50 such at bats. But the Rockies had more opportunities tonight. They have 9 hits, 6 runs, 3 home runs tonight. And they were facing a guy that they had not produced an earned run against in 2 previous starts this year, Joey Lucchesi. 5 innings, Lucchesi gave up 3 runs, 6 hits. Nikita in 1 inning gave up another 3. Good swing. But again, when you're going well or decently, that's a ball you put in play hard.
That ball's hit hard.
Yep.
When you're swinging well, that ball is hit well. And for Ian, we know it's been a struggle. Some of the numbers that Ian has, they're not great.
No, they're very poor. There's no other way to spin it. And not going to happen here. He strikes out on a pitch up and out of the zone. Rockies will leave 2 on in the 7th. We'll stretch at Petco. Colorado 6 and the Padres 4. Cooney Lexus look back. Daniel Castro, first home run in a Rockies uniform, third in his big league career. Had a couple with Atlanta a few years ago. And then this is numero uno in the career of COL Cuevas, former Dodger farmhand. And then Gerardo Parra. That's the 75th of his career. That's a big blow. 3-run shot. And that gave the Rockies a 6-3 lead. They're now up 6-4. 7th inning, top of the order. And Brian Shaw facing Manuel Margot. And the first pitch misses, ball 1. Ellis with a runner at third and 2 outs, got a base hit on an 0-2 delivery from Shaw last inning, and then Shaw would strike out the pinch hitter Corey Spangenberg. Margot, Hosmer, Perella. Nobody up in the Rockies' pen. This will be Shaw's inning, and he drops that kind of slurvy breaking ball in there. Seen him do that a little bit. Now Mike Dunn just got up.
And he's getting hot in a hurry.
And another one. I don't know if we've seen him double up on that, Spill. He worked out nicely.
I'm looking at his usage with the slider, and it's Shaw last year was using his cutter almost 100% of the time. Back-to-back sliders. Margot, who's been struggling against everybody. It could be as much as he can't handle an off-speed pitch, and so throw that.
Here's Hosmer. He doubled in a run in the 5th. 1 for 3 tonight. Now it's against Tyler Anderson. And Shaw misses 2-0.
There's times when you look at some of the numbers, and for Brian Shaw, some of his baseball pages that we have the advanced analytics on, they have him using a slider 20% of the time to righties. But we haven't seen the slow one like that to back to back in a long time.
No, that had more curveball properties to it with the depth of it. 3-0 on Hosmer. That's on the corner. That's a pitch off the plate, but for the most part, Larry Vanover has called that pitch a strike both ways tonight. That's a good pitch. 3-2. I talked to some people in Cleveland recently, and they said Shaw would go through periods where, you know, deep counts, walk some guys. Well, this is not a guy who's going to lose confidence. He's had so much success. 3-2, and he walks Hosmer. We'll bring up Perella. 11th walk this year. Got a couple of righties before Cordero, a lefty. Steve Foster, Buddy talking. Two guys that know a thing or 6,000 about pitching. Perella's 0 for 3, and that misses. If you're wondering about Jake McGee, Mike Dunn, Jake McGee is out in the bullpen. Jake's gone through a little bit of a rough period. And that's outside, 2-0.
Perella 2 for 3 in his career against Brian Shaw.
And you can see again on that Subaru strike zone, there have been at least, I would say, 8 pitches called for a strike in off the plate.
And both catchers, Iannetta and Ellis, have been exploiting that. They've been going to that spot. I know people are saying, shouldn't a strike always be a strike? Isn't it 17 inches and from the knee hollow up to The letters on the jersey, isn't that the strike zone? Yes, kinda.
Subject to change. And there's the slider, 3-2, another deep count. Wonder if Hosmer down 2 runs, but you never know. Could be moving here to stay out of the double play. Hosmer swiped third earlier today. He's not going, and it's a double play ball. There's 1 and there's 2. Good feed by Castro. So Shaw works out of it after the 1-out walk to Hosmer. We move to the 8th. The Rockies +2 on the scoreboard. No hidden fees, that's transparency. By Subaru, love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. And by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Chris Iannetta at the plate, second inning of work for Matt Strom. Walked 2-1 intentionally in the 7th inning. Iannetta a single and a run scored tonight, 1 for 3. Chris been swinging the bat a little bit better.
He's taking 3 quality swings tonight. Has 1 hit to show for it.
Rockies trying to win their 6th consecutive game out on the road. And that's on the ground to third, Villanueva. 1 out. Gerardo Parra's coming up. Gerardo a 3-run home run in the 6th inning. Break up a 3-3 tie.
Planning an event? Don't strike out. Send an email to dinger@rockies.com to have the Rockies mascot at your next event.
Does Dinger know how to read, or does he have an assistant? Dinger has an assistant, right?
I don't know. I've often, when I see that read that I have to do for the send Dinger an email, I want to send him advice, like ask questions, like a Dr. Drew or a Dear Sally.
Dear Dinosaur?
Dear Dinger.
Dear Dinger.
Yeah. Having communication problems with my partner.
Dinger, the psychoanalyst. And Parra somehow got on top of that fastball that was about neck high. Fouled it off.
I just picture sitting on the black leather couch in his office, and there's Dinger nodding his head, spinning it sometimes. Can't talk.
This is on the ground to Villanueva again.
So at the end of the session, you're like, Dinger, thanks, man. You're a great listener.
And maybe on the wall, you know, pictures of Tyrannosaurus Rexes and pterodactyls.
Something like that.
Distant relatives. Castro a home run tonight, 1 for 3. And if you're late to Petco tonight, our broadcast, DJ LeMahieu was placed back on the disabled list late this afternoon. He hurt his left thumb swinging the bat yesterday. We do not know how long he'll be out, but the Rockies brought Pat Valaika back to the big leagues today. So Castro playing second base tonight after never spending a day on the DL. Back-to-back stints for DJ. Hopefully it's just a sprain and he's able to come back very quickly. The hamstring injury was well taken care of. He missed just 10 days, played 5 games, and then he's got to go back on the shelf. Line drive's caught, a 1-2-3 inning for Strom. To the bottom of the 8th we go. It'll be Adam Ottavino time when we come back. The Rockies 6 and the Padres 4. Back to Petco.
Sportsnet will be celebrating the Rockies' 25th anniversary by counting down the all-time top 25 players. Tune in tomorrow afternoon as we celebrate number 20 on our list, Garrett Atkins. You can join the conversation by sending in your favorite memories, photos using the hashtag ToyotaTalk25.
Why did you say to me earlier tonight that you have no favorite memories of Garrett?
I have some favorite ones. Garrett's looking forward to taking over the Twitter account tomorrow. He's also going to give us a phone call. Phoner. I believe the second inning tomorrow we'll have a chance to talk to him.
Fastball in the outside corner, strike one, and that has been the biggest difference for Adam Ottavino this year. He has thrown a first pitch strike this year 64+% of the time. That is the highest rate in the Rockies bullpen. And a little slider's fouled off. Quickly 2 strikes on Villanueva. And as we all know, that wasn't the deal a year ago.
I've always loved this quote, a statement, if you want to call it that. Bob McClure, who has been a Rockies pitching coach for years, and then he moved on to the Red Sox. He's been well regarded. He says, mechanics is what throws strikes.
1, 2, 3. See you later, Christian Villanueva. Yet another strikeout for Adam Ottavino.
It's incredible. And when you're thinking about this, mechanics throws strikes. He's in line. His sight that he's using, his foot, the way it's pointing towards home plate, it's all different compared to last year. All those small mechanical adjustments have allowed Adam to get the results he wants this year on the Subaru Supermo. That's a filthy slider.
39th strikeout in 22 and a third innings. Now it's Franchi Cordero, 0 for 3 tonight. Did reach on a fielder's choice in the 4th and eventually score. 6-4 Colorado, 1 out in the 8th. And that slider's all over the strike zone, 1-1. That'll be fun having Garrett on tomorrow.
Garrett was a good player.
Garrett was an outstanding player. And an underrated defender. Maybe he didn't have big time range, but if you hit it to Garrett and he caught it, you were out. 2-1. He was like Nolan, man. He hunted RBIs.
He's a great RBI guy. Anything on at second base, he would hit the ball opposite field or run into a 2-run home run.
Really good rhythm to his swing, don't you think?
Yeah, I loved his swing. I think I've shared with you.
On the outside corner, 2-2.
I shared with you after 2006, I watched Garrett. He hit 29 home runs, over 100 RBIs that year, and he would always rest his bat on his shoulder. I went down to winter ball, and I tried incorporating that into my swing, and that ended up being my swing. It was because of Garrett.
2-2. See you later. Another strikeout for Adam Ottavino. 2 gone, and that'll bring up Franmil Reyes in his big league debut. Ottavino's pitches have been insane this year.
Well, you've teased that this is the Ottavino's slider, and on this one, it's a 2-seamer that runs back. Amount of movement for Ottavino, and he didn't like the location. He wanted more towards Franchi's hip to get the freeze. Oh, my goodness.
Now, I can guarantee you 22-year-old Franmil Reyes down in El Paso tearing it up this year has not seen a slider like that. Ottavino's faced 82 hitters now, and he has struck out basically half of them, 40. 0-1 on Reyes, and a bouncer foul. He's allowed only 6 hits this year. When the league in mid-May is hitting 087 against you, you're doing a lot of things right.
It's not a small sample size at this point.
2-strike pitch. See ya. How about that inning? 1, 2, 3, 3 punch outs on 11 pitches for Ottavino. He might be like Spilligus back in the day. You don't have to shower.
Just go straight to the butt. You're filthy.
Get a pinch hitter, Pat Valleca, just back to the big leagues. Will get to swing the bat here. A reminder coming up next, the Toyota postgame show from right here in San Diego. It'll be Jenny and Huey and maybe a little bit of Spilly again.
I'm going to be back in it. All right.
Yeah.
I'm in.
He signed you up for that. Robbie Erlin's going to be the new arm in the game for San Diego. Spilly like a Spilly goat with the gray in the middle of your beard. How's that thing working out? Is it still itchy?
It's itchy. Yep.
It is itchy?
I don't think it looks that great, does it?
See. Yeah.
Yeah. Just don't touch it.
Yeah.
We just got a PR note from the Colorado Rockies. It is the 7th game of the season where the Rockies have hit 3 home runs in a game. However, this may surprise you. 6 of those games where the Rockies have hit 3 home runs have come on the road.
They've hit a ton more home runs. They've been on the road more, but they still are averaging more home runs per game on the road. If you look at Erlin's numbers. So here's Valaika in his return. Pat was struggling with the bat. He was so great swinging the bat last year. Great in the pinch. Great in spot starts. Kind of got off to a slow start and it just snowballed on him. He was still working on that when he was down in AAA. He was just 3 for 17 down with Albuquerque, but that's a nice new beginning.
It's great, and I noticed immediately there's already an adjustment to Valaika's swing. He's changed the bat angle. It's at the start of the year is a lot more up and down. There's a little more tilt to it. So just the way he's holding the bat, he's probably allowed him to flatten out his plane. It's so important for a pinch hitter, especially a young player, to get in the rhythm, remind yourself what you were doing right.
Charlie 1 for 3 and a walk. Stolen base, and ducking is first base umpire Hunter Wendelstedt. Who Wants Tacos? Fans, follow us at AT&T Sportsnet RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special when the Rockies score 7 runs or more. If they can get Pat around, everybody gets tacos tomorrow. Just a strange season in so many ways thus far in 2018 for the Rockies. Normally you think a big-time offense. You haven't seen that, just in spurts. You think of the Rockies as a team that dominates at home. That's been a struggle thus far. They've been killing it, though, out on the road and winning a lot of close games on the road. And their record of 22-19 has been built largely on starting pitching and very good plus side late relief. Adam Ottavino and Wade Davis. Davis may have 2 blown saves, but he also has 14 in his hip pocket. And he's getting ready to pitch the 9th here.
I was asked a question looking at the 2018 Rockies, and Charlie said this great. This lineup is built not for contact. It's built for power. It's built to deliver offense quickly. And it's obvious with the percentages with the home runs to the amount of runs scored. But I was asked, can this offense get better? Can they improve? Has this offense been underperforming? The answer is yes. Yes to all those. Can they get better? Yes. Have they been underperforming? Absolutely, yes. When will they get better? Soon, we hope.
This is hit foul, so Charlie battling away 1 and 2, and that is DJ LeMahieu. He was getting an MRI late this afternoon, so this is the first we're seeing him today.
That's not good to see that brace on it.
Well, I would think regardless of what the diagnosis was, they're going to immobilize it, so I don't want to read too much into that. He is on the disabled list, though.
You could tell he was telling his teammates how he did it.
Charlie back in the count now at 2 and 2. Valaika leads single in the top of the 9th. Padres have the bottom third of their order due up in the bottom of the 9th. There's Cuevas. And a called strike 3 at the top of the strike zone.
It's like a slider at the top of the strike zone. And for Charlie, he had a couple pitches over the course of the night that he did not like, based on his reaction. Says it all.
Cuevas, a home run back in the 5th, his first career home run, which means this will be a night he will never forget. And this is popped up in front of the plate area on the right field side, or on the first base side. Hosmer makes the catch, 2 outs. One thing that's improved, at least for the evening, even with the strikeout of Blackman, the Rockies with just 5 strikeouts tonight. At home, in 6 games, they struck out 60 times. They struck out a season-high 15 yesterday. And Buddy Black was pretty adamant after the game. He said, that's got to change. He was asked about it again this afternoon. He said, yeah, we've got to strike out less. We've got to put it in play more. 2 outs. Here's Nolan.
And that happens to offenses. It happens to every offense. It's not a Rockies specific problem. It's a league-wide issue. But when an offense is struggling, guys tend to swing bigger. And when offense is struggling at their home ballpark where they should feel comfortable, you start getting that hero ball mentality. I'm going to drive the ball out of the ballpark. When the Rockies go on the road, it feels like they shorten their swings. They're putting the ball in play for whatever reason. I've noticed it's a physical change that we've noticed on the road. And typically you want this approach when you're at Coors Field. Being willing to get jammed, put the ball in play at Coors Field, hit the ball in the air.
Well, that's going to be another hit for Nolan. Pat Valleca will stop at second. And Nolan has himself a 3-hit ball game. He's been on 4 times. Save an opportunity for Trevor Story, who's 0 for 4. Well, the Rockies have had 20 games this year where they've struck out at least 10 times. Philadelphia has done it, San Francisco and Arizona also. The only teams with more, the Yankees, they have a big swing offense. They have a great offense. But they're gonna hit home runs and strike out. 21 times they've struck out in a game 10 or more times. Texas, who's having a tough year, they've done it 24 times. Story fouls it off. Usually when you say Trevor's 0 for 4, there's a strikeout or 2 mixed in there. But his contact rate has gone up. His chase percentage has gone down. The production has gone up. Tonight 0 for 4, but he's had it in play 4 times. And as hard as he hits the ball, if he puts it in play 4 times, typically he's going to have a hit or 2 in there, or maybe a trot around the bases. You know, one other note about the Rockies, you say you like the approach better on the road. It seems like they're shorter to the baseball. That may indeed be true. However, again, coming into tonight, it's been a good offensive night for the Rockies. 6 runs, 11 hits. They're hitting only .215 on the road, but they've managed to get the big hit and high-quality pitching. That's why they're 15-8, hoping to be 16-8 in a short time. This .215 is nothing to brag about.
No. Offensively, nothing that the Rockies offensively has done this year has been anything to brag about. Do I think they're going to end up being second in baseball in batting average this year? No, I don't. I think this offense is different.
This ball's lifted down the left field line, and you can't climb the net. Freddie tried, as did Christian Villanueva. Here's a look at the home road split so far. This is why it's been such a different Rockies team thus far. The sport's always been about pitching. That ERA is one of the best road ERAs in baseball. The opponent's hitting just .213 against the Rockies. They'll get home straightened out. This is on the ground to Galvis, and we're going to go to the bottom of the 9th inning. The Rockies leading 6-4. Wade Davis will be aboard when we come back. It's the two lefties matching up for the third time this year, Tyler Anderson and Joey Lucchesi. And Tyler Anderson's on the plus side. Lucchesi's going to get a no decision. 3 runs, 5 innings for Lucchesi. Tyler Anderson an out shy of having a quality start because of the 4 runs he allowed. 1 was unearned. 3-run home run by Gerardo Parra against Makita. The difference in this ball game, and now Wade Davis will try to get the final 3 outs. It'll be Freddie Galvis, A.J. Ellis, and then probably Travis Jankowski to pinch hit.
There are the numbers for Wade Davis. ERA 3.12, the 17 and a third innings with 21 strikeouts. Very good. Opponent average 180, very good. However, if there's one number that Wade Davis would like to see improved, it is first pitch strikes. On the season, it's 53%. And for a pitcher like Wade that has a very solid mix, can use both sides of the plate, that first pitch strike opens up his arsenal. And that's been something in the small hiccups that Wade has had. First pitch strikes were the issue.
14 out of 16 in save opportunities. Galvis has had a single, double, and triple tonight. Not in that order. It's double, single, triple. He has scored 2 runs. And he tries to bunt his way on, and that is a great flip. Desmond, that's where his athletic ability pays off in his time playing shortstop. And Wade Davis, if he's not sprinting in that direction, this is a bunt single for Galvis.
And it's putting a lot of pressure on the Rockies. Second time we've seen a bunt thrown down on the Rockies pitchers. The offense is trying to find something. The Padres, I like the play by Freddie Galvis, but I'd like the play by Desmond and Davis a lot better. One of the rare times that you'll see a base runner slide into first, it does not make you go faster. Don't do that.
Yeah, it was a smart play by Galvis. Trying to get the tying run up. 1 out. Here's A.J. Ellis, an RBI single in the 6th inning against Brian Shaw.
It has been measured, Drew, and I know there's probably people thinking at home, the sliding into first base, is it faster? No, it's not. You're actually slower by 1/10 of a second. The only time you ever slide into first base is to avoid a tag.
Ellis hits a high fly ball to center field. Camped underneath Charlie Blackmon, and that is out number 2 in the 9th.
Download the MLB Ballpark app, the official app of Coors Field, to purchase and access digital tickets. Upgrade your seat and play Pick 3 every home game for your chance to win prizes.
So here's Travis Jankowski, who started the year in AAA with a fair amount of big league time, former #1 pick out of Stony Brook down on Long Island. Three pitches, 2 outs. Tomorrow is an afternoon game. We're on the air with the pregame show back home at 1 o'clock. And it'll be German Marquez, 9th start of the year, against the former Rocky Jordan Lyles, making just his 2nd start of the year. Initially, he was working out of the bullpen. He is throwing the ball well this year. Throwing a curveball a little bit more than what we recall.
You gotta remember, Jordan Lyles is 26 years old.
Very good arm.
Great arm. He made it to the Houston Astros in a rush.
And Davis falls behind Jankowski 3-0. Do not want to have one hiccup and allow the tying run to come up. That's what happened to Davis a few days back. 2 outs, nobody on in a 2-run game. Seeing eye base hit, and then the opposite field home run by Manny Pena. And then that really the most tragic loss of the season for the Rockies when they had a 9-3 lead against the Brewers and ended up losing 11-10. And Jankowski walks. That'll bring up Manuel Margot. I was a little surprised that the first pitch of that at bat was a breaking ball.
I think part of it for Davis is that's probably a pitch he feels comfortable throwing and commanding for a strike, and I pointed it out. It's 54% of the time he's throwing first pitch strikes. That's extremely low, even for a reliever that has great stuff. You want to be about 60% first pitch strike.
You see what Buddy was letting Nolan know. Don't be surprised if he tries to bunt with Hosmer on deck. Jankowski will take off, ball 1. So 3 out of the first 4 hitters, he fails to throw a first pitch strike. And you want nothing to do with the guy on deck. Their best hitter, he would represent the winning run. Davis has got to put it down right here with Margot at the plate. One and one. Finish this off so I can go to bed happy. I think you speak for many. Good breaking ball, comebacker. Davis throws to first. Ball game over. Everybody can go good night. The Rockies win at 6-4. Great start to this road trip. They've now won 6 in a row away from home. They're 16-8 on the road. Gerardo Parra, the big blow, a 3-run home run for Wade Davis, his 15th save. Tyler Anderson gets the victory. He improves to 3-1. It's all good at Petco tonight. The Rockies over the Padres, 6-4. We'll come back with a Toyota postgame show from the West Coast.